Well, I think that there's a lot of those little triggers about to take place myself. So, for instance, in Germany, they use quartz to create, just by the sheer weight of the building, it creates piezoelectricity
That's right.
to light the entire building. My point is very simple. The ancient alien theorists are now suggesting in one of their programs that because of X, Y, and Z, they were able to produce electricity in the Egyptian, in the Egyptian pyramid. I go, well, what if it was wired with piezo anyway? Just at sheer weight would create the electricity, so you don't need to add all these other concoctions to get a reaction, to get gases into different chambers and the like, and perhaps break the stone.
Well, I've heard the theory of them, there's apparently this copper piping running through, which is tapping into underground water source, which is pulling the orgone energy through it as well. But if you build a pyramid, which I built pyramids too, we got into that, because all these things are interlinked, they're all connected, right?
Oh, I'm going to show you.
The measurements are coming from the pyramids.
You'll find out.
Measurements are coming from the pyramids and sacred sites. Even places like Stonehenge work off the Teotihuacan cubit. The royal cubit divides into the Teotihuacan, and so does the Sumerian cubit, divides into, in fact, some of the pyramids in South America. They've found both the Egyptian royal, the Sumerian and the Teotihuacan cubits all used in the same building. Even the Pyramid of Giza, it's got many cubits used, different cubit measurements used within that building. The King's Chamber, there's more than one cubit measurement in there. They've got the Remen and the black cubit. There's lots of different measurement systems used. Why that is, maybe it's to create a different effect and different energy, because they all seem to have a slight change or variation of energy. The lost cubit works on the mental emotional state. The royal cubit works on the physical element. The Teotihuacan is a multi-frequency ring that does everything that all the other rings did together and works on what's needed at the time. So it's quite a powerful ring.
It won't go over full. It'll just keep adding in till it's full. Okay.
Basically, it'll go when you wear that ring. Whether it's mental, emotional that's needed healing on, whether it's physical, it works on the lot. It doesn't. Where Slim had the loss for the mental, emotional, the royal for the physical.
One for each day of the week, or one with the lot.
That's right.
Let's get back to the pyramids, because you and I could talk like this all day long.
Absolutely, yeah.
But you mentioned something that I picked up on. So you told, and I was eavesdropping, but you were open because you're showing your wares off. And you were saying that this device here, hopefully I haven't overstepped the mark, is made of the dimensions of the Giza pyramid and
the Nubian.
Now the other name of a Nubian pyramid is a Meirotic pyramid, or a Meiro pyramid.
Okay.
So I'll let you describe that first, and then I'll come back to you with what that actually might mean.
Yeah.
You mentioned something about strengths.
I did. I started to play with the pyramids and thought, well, I'm going to make some pyramids and see what happens with them, and I started playing with those. I got onto some information on Dr. Patrick Flanagan, who is claimed to be the reincarnation of Tesla. Apparently they've done, someone's done some past life regression work to say, well, from what their findings are, they certainly can't dispute the fact, but who's going to ever have the proof? But anyway, that's another story. So I played around with the pyramids. I started making some of these Giza type pyramids, and noticed that they had quite a strong, profound effect on things. And I thought, well, I wonder how I could put this into a harmonizer. And it's only recent, only in the last couple of months, that I started off, I got onto a device called the Delta T antenna, which was used in the Montauk project and the Philadelphia experiment. It was a time machine. and I made one. Of course, I didn't have either the amount of electrical power or current to put through the frequencies to drive it to get to the point of opening up. Yeah, not that I was particularly interested to do that.
Didn't have a couple of square kilometres of solar panels.
No.
Right.
No.
So,
but I got to this, and I thought, well, if I made a harmonizer out of this, which it did, and it worked considerably well, based on the delta T, which was just basically two geese at pyramids, upended on each other. And it was only just recently that I read a bit more on the Nubians, and I got information just stated that the Nubian pyramid was the most powerful pyramid structure in the world that they know of. And I thought, wow, let me put the two together. And I did, and yeah, I was pretty blown away with the results of this. This is a little different to the other harmonizers, but it's very directional and very, very, very long range.
But do you plug this in? It's got a socket.
Yeah, basically it's got a Mobius coil inside the Acu-Vac coil in the centre. Now we plug it into a square wave, so you can plug it into 15 hertz, 432, 528. There's a range of frequencies, but the average one is that most people use is a 15 or 432. But I've got multiple frequencies that I give to people that are in the know.
So you're changing the frequency on the box. 432 hertz has really just come to life recently, especially with regard to tuning instruments.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Things. So
Well, see, originally most instruments were tuned to 432, and then it was altered and changed to 440 to corrupt people's.
Create dirty audio.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anyway, so when you put a square wave into the Mobius coil, it then, which is one of Tesla's little inventions, it creates a scalar wave. It creates a chaos field, which, you know, it's beneficial to humans. We operate on a scalar wave frequency. Your DNA is the spiral. These, the spiral. It all works on that same principle, and where your sine wave and your nasty sort of electromagnetic microwave frequencies are all, you'll see them in waves of ripples, which really smashes our own field.
But they're called disharmonic.
Absolutely, yeah. Where this tends to scramble those frequencies, it creates distortion in them and breaks them up, which basically you can see in the sky when you've got a cloud full of ripples and things. And it transmutes the particulates in the atmosphere because it creates these rings create a state of warming, which is orbitally rearranged monatomic elements, creates a tensor field within the ring. I don't know whether you can see that. I can see it from here. The cameras may pick it up. It's almost like a bubble, or
I can see it myself. I just saw it. I hope I can
the cameras might pick that up. So it's like a hazy field. It doesn't emanate much outside of the ring. You get a little bit of emanation, but it pushes up like a, well, it's a bit like a bloody, what do you call it? Star Wars. A light beam.
A lightsaber.
Yeah, lightsaber, that way and that way. So it's like a double-edged torch, one going that way and that way. So whatever you point that on, or you work that over, is actually benefiting from that energy that comes off that, which is this harmonic.
It almost looks like your hands magnified behind it.
Yeah, it does. You can see when you look through a ring, it does actually give magnification. If you move one around, I'll look at the energy coming off that there now. I'll just hold that in the sun. Yeah. Can you see that?
It's a little, I can. There's a distortion there, without a doubt.
Yeah. When you hold it in the sunlight, you'll see it.
Yeah, I can see what you would call refractions and reflections.
Yeah, it's almost like an aura. Yeah.
I can see that quite easily, but I was noticing something else. I was noticing like a film.
That's
that
right.
Feels like gas.
That's
Okay,
right. That's
good.
exactly right. Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
exactly
Good
right. Yeah, that's exactly right. So whatever passes through that ring, or whatever you sort of can work over the body with these. You can put it over places of pain. You can scan food to restructure food. You can place it over a glass of water.
But it needs your focused attention first. In other words, you're giving it a job to do.
To begin with,
Well,
when I
you're
create
saying-
it,
you're
when I create it,
when you create it,
Yeah.
you're now saying that if you wander it over food,
yeah,
it's reconstructing it.
yeah.
So you've given it a task.
It
which
will
means
reconstruct
You don't physically turn around and say, I'm going to use you now as a food preserver.
There's no need.
No,
to.
what it's doing is it's reading your thoughts, and your attention is magnifying the instruments into action.
Copper is a crystalline structure.
Uh-huh.
Okay. You can program intent into, and what we do make for that is what we call a field generator, and it's a ball. It's 4 rings intertwined into a ball. Okay. Which collapses, and you can collapse it down.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then open it up into a ball.
That's pretty cool.
Now, that can be used to you can put essential oils inside, you can put crystals inside, you can put your intent written on a bit of paper inside. It's a broadcast tool. It broadcasts out in all directions your intentions.
But you have to have a focused idea.
Yeah. You
That's
can
the
program that like a crystal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you just had random scrambled ideas, it's just going to be random and scrambled instead of focused.
Regardless of whether you program it or not, these things are going to work on clearing the atmosphere.
Yeah, I hear you.
But then you can utilise them and use them as a program tool, more so the things like the field generator, to do a set intended job, if you wish. Yeah. But as far as the harmonizers go, even something like these little one. This is a 15 hertz zapper, which I build, running on this tiny little harmonizer here, which, believe me, packs a punch. It's a one. It's a what's this one? This is
so that's operating off a D. No.
Yeah, that's just running off a 9-volt battery.
9 volt, right.
But I do make some that have a transformer you can plug in.
Pulsing. The pulsing machines are based on Hulda Clark's work, I'd imagine, originally.
Yes, yeah. I do make some of the holder type ones. And,
okay, good.
But this one here was
But
was developed by Don Croft, who was one of the. Well, he was, I guess, one of the real pushers behind the Orgonite movement now. They changed the Orgonite by putting crystals into the Orgonite. Instead of it just becoming... originally Orgonite was made with just resin and metals, right? And it created orgone, negative ions, just like a salt lamp does. But it didn't suck in the electromagnetic energy and transmute it. So all it was doing was pushing out negative ions to mix with all the positively charged ions. What the new Orgonite does with the crystals in it is it pulls in the positively charged ions, transmutes it as it goes through the crystal, pushes it back out. So it's vacuuming and pushing out, vacuuming and pushing out. You understand? So him and his wife, Don Croft, and can't think of his wife, Carol Croft, were responsible for that. So they did a lot of gifting. They were very much pioneers in the whole combat against chemtrails and electromagnetic towers and whatever.
So you plug this thing in.
Yep.
And what's this particular device going to do?
What this does is it transforms. It's an environmental cleaner.
Excellent.
Okay.
How much is something like that?
Something like this, they start from about 150 for, you know, some of the small harmonizers. The box is about $100.
And all you've got to do is replace the battery.
That's all. Or we can build them with a transformer on them, so you can plug them into the power and leave them. This is good because it's portable. I take it in the car, call this the Harmonite. Sits in the car on the dash, a little bit of rubber mat against the top and wedge it between the windscreen and stays there. Doesn't move. So I travel with one of these everywhere I go. Everywhere I go. And of course
in actual fact, it's an interesting word, the way you said that.
Yeah, I know.
Because CALM and CARM, karma and karma.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Because you're actually.
Well, you could spell it KARMA
well,
if you wanted to.
Well, you are actually ordering your karma if you can remain calm in the moment.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Because your mind's not drifting into the past.
Yeah.
And you're only thinking of the future of where you're going, so that means you can have the gift, which is remain in the present.
That's it, yeah.
So just 1 second now. On this one though, you've got some ornamental pieces, which I'd imagine are manufactured elsewhere and incorporated into your design.
They're basically copper beads, and the beads work like a capacitor. Basically, in a nutshell, it gives them more horsepower. That's according to Slim.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, and what's the last little coil type arrangement you've got there that's inverted back on itself?
Well, this is an Acu-Vac coil. Of course, all these are in superconductors, but what this is primarily a healing tool. So what happens is you have a north and a south pole, or a positive and a negative end. One end, it draws in negative energy, and you can use this over areas of pain on the body.
Really?
So to draw out, so you'd work over it in circles.
Yeah.
And the reason we're doing circles, because you've got to remember that the active point is this area between in the coil, right? So it's like a torch. You can't see over there unless you move it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it can be used in a sweeping action or just in a circular motion and draw out. So work over it, and it takes about, I guess, about 30 seconds or so before the resonance really builds up and connects. You can feel it, particularly if you work over the third eye, which is sort of working on decalcifying.
But what essentially you are doing, it seems to me, is you're magnifying the Reiki potential of a human being. If you're drawing the energy and then pulling it, because that's technically what we're doing in the aura, isn't it? So you're intensifying that with that device.
It all works on the same energetic principles.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's like having turbo on your healing ability.
You've got it in one. You've got it in one. Absolutely got it in one.
Thank you.
So for energy workers and healers and Reiki healers, and these tools are phenomenal. And I mean, I've seen some profound things happen, like defies logic. You know, anyway, just getting back, pulls out the pain, drag, pull it out, and you just communicate with the client or the patient as you're working with them. They'll tell you when the pain's gone, when it's stopped, when that pulling energy feeling stops. Then you would turn it around and work with the positive end of the cord, and you must do that. You've got to seal it back up. Otherwise, you're going to leave an energetic hole there. You know, you're going to leave a hole in their energy field.
Yeah, I hear you. To cut it. If you're a dentist, you're drilling a hole, then you've got to put a filling back in.
Yeah, you've got to pack it. Yeah.
Right, got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really good. Now, what would your advice be? If someone said they had, like, I don't know, $500, what would you suggest they buy in order to help their personal life in a home, an ordinary home that might have Wi-Fi? And what would you do with any device? Would you plonk it near the Wi-Fi or near the receiver? Would it have any effect on polluting Wi-Fi?
They can place a ring on the Wi-Fi and or their smart meter or meters, or a piece of Orgonite.
Which one of the rings?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Or a different ring?
Yeah, look, the size of the ring's not necessarily overly important. I mean, I've only just started making some rings that fit over a smart meter. See, all the rings have to be a fraction of the measurement of the original qubit measurement, or a doubling, or
Yes.
You understand? So it's got to fit within it. It's got to divide within it. Otherwise, it won't work. But yeah, look, I do make a ring that fits over a smart meter. But in America, they got round ones and they fit a ring perfectly. So we just generally use the Orgonite on the meters here. Harmonizer, top of the range. I mean, it's we're putting a field out over a big area. We're talking, you know, this thing's probably pushing out to powered up 50, 60 Ks, unpowered probably about 3K, you know.
When you say powered just by a 9-volt battery, throws that...
Powered up by zapper and meaning frequency going into it, I'm talking about powered up. Slim never had these. He didn't use these, although I think he later on found out about the frequency zappers. But all he did, there was no Mobius coil in here. All he did was he played music through a little set of earphones, into the harmonizer itself. That activated it. You can sit it next to a speaker, not too loud, doesn't need to be loud, only quite soft. And it activates that, and believe me, it works. I've tried many times. I've got harmonizers at home that I sit a flue pipe, like off a wood heater, with a speaker with just a harmonizer on the top of it, play music through it. Like natural native sounds, nature
like
sounds.
Vivaldi,
or
Four Seasons, bird noises, oceans, winds, anything but not AC/DC.
Nature side, nature music, or relaxation, and not all of those relaxation ones work either.
No, of course.
But I'll tell you another one that works well is classical.
Yeah, that's why I said Vivaldi's Four Seasons is known as an elevating natural, got a biorhythm, you might say. But AC/DC though, or heavy metal.
Yeah, that might sort of cause black clouds and rain.
and it, thanks for that. Yeah, and hopefully no bleeding trees.
Yeah.
I get it. So I'm not trying to wrap it up, but we'll have to sort of wrap it up. You've got places to go and appointments. So where does anyone contact you? What's your web address?